I have a lot.
Brights and brights, Junior.
Yeah.
I know, right? I look sexy. I look like an angel. Hey,
You
don't
do
try
look like an
don't try to,
angel.
hey, look at her. She's trying to darken me. Stop trying to darken me.
That's your halo.
Let me be white.
Oh my God.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for your wishes and things like that. That's so awesome. So a new year. And I kind of wanted to just talk about habits. Right. There's a saying from a movie. What was the name of the movie? I absolutely loved it. I watched it when I was so young. It's like Kingsman. There we go, Kingsman.
Yeah,
You guys watch Kingsman,
I've
I
watched
did.
it many times.
right? And he says something along the line of "habit maketh man." How many of you guys remember when he said that?
Not just maketh the man.
Yeah. In the
Habit
bar.
maketh man. Yeah, I remember that.
All right.
An old English saying, manners maketh man.
Oh, it's manners maketh man. Oh shit.
Mhm. Close.
Manners, habit, same shit. Right.
Yes.
But today I want to talk about habits. All right. We all have a series of habits, every single one of us. And I want to make a clear depiction of how the habits that you have in your life could be taking you down a road that you may not want to go down.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Or, right? Because not everything is negative, or the habits that you currently have right now can also be taking you through a road or down a road that you are excited and delighted to be on. Okay. And I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to tell my story. Some of you guys already heard my story, already know my story, but I want to share it with you guys. I want to share two different stories. Same person, same me, right? But two versions of my story based on two different timelines. Sounds cool? So where do I start? This is a hard topic. Most of my younger life, I was a piece of shit. No, but so pretty much, I found myself getting into a lot of trouble, starting from high school, fighting and drugs, or like weed, fighting and weed. And then I stopped getting involved with a lot of those things like that. And when I got into 12th grade, right, habits, right, I was able to drop some of those things, such as smoking weed and all those other things. And I focused a lot into wrestling. And this is pretty much my first breakthrough of how the habits that you have may actually shape your future, but not just shape the future that you have, but shape your environment, shape the people that you hang out with, shape your friends. 12th grade was the first time in my life where I actually had friends that weren't troublemakers. All right. I had friends that were actually doing something with their life. I had friends that was actually positive. It was 12th grade. And that was when I was wrestling. It was when I had to be super fit, when I had to work out and all those things like that. Because at that point, I was an athlete. So I attracted a bunch of other athlete friends. And because I identified as an athlete, right? I spoke to some of the people here in orientation about identity. Because I identified it as an athlete, I ended up stopped smoking and doing a lot of those things. Does that make sense? So I developed certain habits, right? I've developed habits in 12th grade of being able to eat clean, right? I've developed a habit of cutting sweets and sugars and candies and sodas out of my diet. I've developed habits of, not smoking weed all day long, right? I've developed a habit of being, mentally clear of what it is that I want. And because of those habits that I've had, it allowed me to actually be able to make it to the city championships in my first year of wrestling, which I lost because I was overweight. Now, because at the point in time in my life, I was a drifter. I didn't know what it is that I want. How many of you guys remember class from last week? With your hands? Drifter versus driven? Drifter versus driven. So at that point of my life, I was a drifter. So I didn't have any clear direction of what I wanted. So what happened, or what ended up happening, was I went right back to the same old habits: smoking weed, being around the wrong crowd, having the wrong friends, and all of those other things. Okay. And I'll tell you exactly what it looked like. So this was my habit, right? My daily ritual, my daily habits. I would wake up in the morning. I would probably roll a joint, or find a friend that has a joint that I can smoke from. I would probably TMI, probably masturbate or something like that. I'm being completely, fully transparent with you guys. Inappropriate, but I'm being completely transparent with you guys. I would probably, because I would smoke a lot, I'd probably eat like, I always, since wrestling, I would always eat clean. So I never really had a problem with eating. But I would probably eat something very, very light. And then I would probably go and skateboard. And then once I'm finished skateboarding, I'd probably go and, write some music, write some songs, right? Because in that time of my life, I thought that, I thought I was going down this path of, musician rock star guy, right? And because I had that identity, right? I had that belief of who I was, and I made certain habits, right? I felt like I was driving myself towards that type of life, if that makes sense. And I found myself, in all the clubs, promoting the parties and being there and doing all these things that I probably shouldn't have been doing early years of my life. And it wasn't until I sat down and I had a realization that maybe these things aren't working for me. Everything that I've been doing up until now has kind of been setting me up for more and more and more failure. With your hands, if you've ever felt like that. You've been doing things, and then everything that you had this realization that everything you've been doing, if you keep going down this road, you're like literally just going to crash and burn. Right. So I had this realization. And I've mentioned this iceberg, right? For those that don't know what I'm talking about, I think there's a YouTube video about it where I explain it. But I mentioned this iceberg to say that I had this epiphany that weekend. And that was the weekend when I believe that I actually made a conscious decision to seek out greatness. I want everyone to repeat after, or repeat that. I am making a conscious decision
A conscious decision
Conscious decision
to seek out greatness.
to seek out greatness.
greatness.
Okay. So that was my first moment of making a conscious decision to seek out greatness. Was when I sat down and I realized that everything around me was a creation of who I was. And I wasn't happy about it. Needless to say, some of you guys already know the story. Things got worse, you know, homelessness then happened and all of those other things, right? But I didn't see where I was going at the time, if that makes sense. I didn't see that the decisions and the actions that I was taking was only going to result in this one outcome or in this outcome. Now, everyone has their different type of luck or different ability, but what I started really thinking about was, how many homeless musicians are there in New York? And I'll let someone like Natalie, who lives in Queens, I'll have her answer that question. Natalie, do you take the subway?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. If you had to put a number on it, how many homeless musicians or artists lives in New York?
A lot. Probably over 100.
Well, I mean, New York is a big city, so 100 people seems like a small number, though.
Probably over 10,000, I'd say.
I would think a better question would be how many
He said musician.
have homes.
All right, musicians.
How many musicians have homes in New York would be an easier question.
All right.
Well, hundreds of them.
Hundreds.
So what I'm explaining is that I had a habit of doing the things that was then, you know, there's definitely people that have had success with it. Definitely. Right. But in the point in the place where I was in life, the things that I was doing wasn't going to help me get to that success. So again, I had the epiphany. I started kind of seeing things a little bit differently, seeing where I was operating and why I had those outcomes. Now, fast forward, I picked up marketing. Was I good at it when I started? Yes or no? No. Of course not. Just as anything else in life, you're never good at it. Anything when you start, right? You never. Show me someone that is good at something great when they start, and I would, you know what, never mind. I'm going to be inappropriate. But it's like so rare, right? Because people are rarely ever good at something that they just started or they just tried doing for the first time. And I failed and I failed and I failed for months. But there's a saying by great Myron Golden, great Sir Myron Golden. It's not working for you. It's working on you. And although I failed, and although I failed, and although I failed, I started seeing like the silver lining. Hey, Evelise, can you take that to the room, please? Take that to the room, please.
What happened?
Take that to the room, please.
Oh, you can hear it?
I can hear it, and they could probably hear it as well.
It's on my headphones. How are they gonna hear it?
Guys, can you hear the music playing?
No, Junior, but
Oh,
I don't hear anything.
well,
But you're right there.
So anyways, I started seeing the silver lining. And what did that look like? Well,
awesome.
I still didn't have any clients. I still had no results. But what was the silver lining looking like?
Getting better.
Light at the end of the tunnel.
I've noticed my habits. I was no longer smoking weed all day. Why? Because I couldn't. I had to be focused to be able to do research and figure out who I can work with. In fact, my clients aren't going to want to hire me if I smell like weed, are they?
No.
No.
I realized that I stopped doing all kind of things like masturbation and all these other things, not because it's evil or bad or anything, just that I realized, hey, I didn't have any energy when I did those things. So I'm going to put my energy to a better use so I can get a desired result. I got even more healthier, right? Because now I definitely don't have time, energy, or want to eat fast food anymore, right? I want to eat food that's going to have substance, that's going to give me nourishment, nourishment.
Good on you. That's a good one.
Right. And over time, I started seeing these different habits being replaced and shifted. And that was like my light bulb moment. And I didn't see the success immediately, right? How many of you guys believe in immediate success? With your hands? It's okay if you do. I used to be delusional like you once. Oh, no one?
Win the lottery.
Right. Well, yes, I used to be super delusional. I used to believe, like, listen, I'm going to be instant success, massive success, and everything's going to work out for me. I used to believe that weird foolishness in my head. I used to believe it. Things don't work that way. So I want to ask you guys, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're just looking at this as something that, perhaps you want to do, whether you're an affiliate marketer or whatever, or just someone looking to make a difference in their life. What habits do you have that are conductive to the success that you want in your life? If you can sit down and say, like for me, the habits that I have is I'm extremely strict on myself. When I want something done, it gets done. Sometimes, this isn't really good, but it is what it is, right? No matter what time I go to sleep, I'm always up at a specific time. Those are habits. How many of you guys can wake up without an alarm clock? With your hands? And you wake up the same time every single day. With your hands? Oh, well, that's me. I'm like literally programmed to wake up at a specific time it does not matter what time I went to sleep. So I want you guys to think about the habits that you guys have and ask yourself whether it's going to bring you the success that you want. One of the biggest things for me that I heard that probably changed my entire life was the understanding. I forgot where. Hold on, let me do a quick Google search. Perfect. Well, no, this isn't it actually. But hunger is the first element of self-discipline. If you can control what you eat and drink, you can control everything else. How many of you guys want to be able to control your thoughts with your hands? If you want to, how many of you guys have like these weird negative ass thoughts that would happen periodically throughout your entire day with your hands? Great. I have them too. The only difference is that I don't act out on them. How many of you guys act out on them? With their hands? Okay. So think of everything as a pattern, right? I know that you guys are coming to book club, so think of hypnotic rhythm. Remember hypnotic rhythm? When you do one thing, it's like continues doing. So let's just look at the concept of not being able to control your thoughts, whether they're negative or whether they're positive, right? Let's just say you're responding negatively to whatever your negative thoughts are, right? You fall into this hypnotic rhythm pattern, correct? If you're attending book club, you should know what I'm talking about, correct? Right, great. So you're falling into this hypnotic rhythm pattern. And what happens is that now the more that you indulge in those emotional behaviors or whatever the case is, then the more it happens and the more you have no control over those things, the more then it'll happen and keep happening. Does that make sense? Now that's what habit is called. Hypnotic rhythm forms habits. Some are good, some are bad. Now, if I can teach you guys how to be able to control your thoughts today, how awesome would that be? Okay, let me get a hell yeah in the chat if you think, if I can teach you literally today in one class how to
Oh,
take
yes, Junior.
Hell yes.
Hell yes.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
well, believe it or not, I actually gave you guys the answer. If you cannot control what you put in your stomach, how can you control your mind? If you can't control what you put in your body, how can you control what comes out of your body? One of the hardest things, one of the biggest disciplines that I had to understand is being very mindful of the foods that I put in my body. I'm not saying I'm a saint, all right? Like I mentioned, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. How many of you guys eat like pork and bacon and stuff like that with your hands?
No, definitely not.
How do you guys feel after you finish eating pork and bacon? How do you guys feel?
Largely.
Being sleepy.
Sleepy.
Fantastic.
Yep, like that.
Yeah. You feel like tired, right? Upset stomach, all of those things. Now, and I definitely, I eat pork, so I'm not going to sit down and say, hey, I don't eat it. But I watch the things that I put in my stomach. I watch the things that I indulge in. Right? You're not going to see me sitting down indulging in bullshit. How many of you guys listen to music? Look at your hands. All right, perfect. How many of you guys know that the music you listen to isn't good for you? With your hands. It's fucking crazy. It's almost everybody. Right? So you know the music that you're listening to is not good for you, but you still continue to listen to it. Why?
Why is it?
It's a habit. And the only way to break that habit is by offering a new habit, a habit of self-discipline. And the way to start developing the new habit is by controlling the foods that you put in your body. Because if you can control your foods that you put in your body, then you give yourself a feeling of, I guess, fuck, whatever the word is. Superior, you feel superior. How do you feel about yourself, right? So for instance, let me give you guys an example. How many of you guys don't smoke? With their hands. And be honest, right? Just be honest. How many of you guys see someone smoking and you're like, I'm better than you? Be honest. I'll tell you straight, I'll wiggle both hands. Right? Because I understand addiction.
Yeah.
Been through it, overcame it, right? And I see myself as a stronger person. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So being able to understand your habits, what you do, why you do them, it's very, very important. And where you should start is by watching what it is that you put inside of your body. And just the same exact way you look at yourself as better than somebody that, may or may not be smoking cigarettes. It's the same exact situation when it comes to food and diets. When I see people lining up at McDonald's, do you think I feel better than them? Of course I do.
You should.
Yeah.
Today, I ate at Chick-fil-A today. Do you know how disgusting I feel about myself right now? I feel disgusting. So I want each and every one of you guys to hold yourself to those standards. Figure out your habits. What habits are going to actually get you to where you want? Is me eating at Chick-fil-A going to get me to my desired outcome? My $20 million? Yes or no? Yes or no?
No. Nope.
No.
No.
It wouldn't. And a lot of you guys that aren't tuned in, you're probably thinking, what the fuck does food have to do with your success? It actually has a lot to do with your success.
Yep.
Let's put it this way. How many of you guys have plants with your hands? Great. What is a plant's food? What does plants take as food and nourishment?
Water,
Sunlight.
plant food,
Water and
carbon
sun.
dioxide.
Water, sunshine.
Water,
Oxygen, water, sunshine.
okay,
And the
very
nutrients
good.
from the ground.
Very good. Water,
Fertilizer.
sunshine, stuff like that, correct?
Correct.
Now, as a human, whether you want to believe it or not, you're kind of like a plant as well. Okay. Now, if I were to take a plant, right? Take this plant, for instance. I have a plant right here. If I was to take this plant and instead of feeding it water, feed it gasoline every single day for a month, what happens?
It died in the first day.
It
I
wouldn't
was
even
gonna
last a
say
month.
it would die as soon
would
as you
die.
put the gasoline.
Okay.
in an hour.
What if I don't feed it gasoline, but what if I feed it lighter fluid?
It's dead.
It's still.
Still dead.
Okay.
Still.
Okay. So what if I don't feed it lighter fluid? What if I feed it Kool-Aid?
It would
It's
actually
gonna make it
live,
sick.
just change its color.
It'll make it really sick.
It would die in a week.
What if I feed it soda, Coca-Cola?
Oh,
It's
it's
dead.
gone. It's a goner.
It's dead.
Yeah.
It'll
Dead.
die in
It's
about a
dead.
day.
So although you're seeing these plants are going to die in a day and things like that, why don't we see our body as the exact same thing? We cannot do our jobs if we're putting the wrong things into our body.
See, this is what I drink.
right? Essential water, that is sexy.
Yeah.
If you cannot control the things that you put in your body, how can you control the outcomes? I want you guys to think about that. And now my question or my assignment for you guys is, what is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that you want to accomplish in the next 10, 20 years of your life? And in fact, here's a better challenge, since we're going to be talking about habits. I want to take everyone, go grab a pen and paper. Go leave me right now. Go grab a pen and a paper. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to write your obituary. You have 10 minutes to do so. What do you want to be remembered for? What do you want people to remember you about and for? What do you want them to talk about? I want every one of you guys to write your obituary. I'll give you guys 10 minutes to do so. They probably some YouTube stuff while we wait. You have 7 more minutes.
Freedom.
The sound is not coming through.
All right, give me a few seconds. Is it better?
No. No, not yet.
How the hell am I supposed to do that?
Click on share screen and then go to advanced instead of basic, and then do computer audio.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you.
Much better.
I'm supposed to be writing the obituary. What do you want people to think about you? You want your kids to remember about your daddy. If you don't have kids, what should you think about your dad? You want your brothers or sisters, your husband or your wife.
People think or what think
I think we need to move a little bit to the left-hand side. That's why.
What happened? Okay, awesome. Well, that's cool. Just how do I turn it off then? Don't know how to. Funny. Ah, here we go. Got it. I got it. Anyways, guys, what did you guys come up with? If you guys don't actually, who wants to share? I want one person to share.
I would love to share mine, Junior.
Okay, Heather, what do you got?
Okay, this is actually both true now and I guess what I want to. Okay, so first I would go over, she was survived by her parents and her son and her husband. And then about me would be, she was the most loving person. And someone actually told me, we wrote obituaries before and told me this is what V said about me. This first part. She was the most loving person that loved everyone, even ones that shouldn't be. And she trusted everyone so easily that she often got hurt, but surprisingly, it didn't seem to bother her. And she just kept on loving and giving as much as she could. And she danced all the time, whether there was music or not. She danced to the beat of her own drum, and she got others to dance with her. She took life by the reins and did everything she wanted to. She enjoyed life so much and did everything she could to help others and to make others happy and smile.
It's awesome. It's really good. So,
oh, and then I got one in there for you too, because I figured this might be what you were looking for, was for Junior.
oh no, you're right. Your obituary for you, not for me. All right, so yes, Jason, you're absolutely correct. This was supposed to be very emotional. We are creatures of habits, and our daily routines, our behaviors, our thoughts are all products of our habits that we've cultivated over time. But I want you guys to consider the amount of power that actually lies within your habits. And they can either hold you back or propel you guys forward. Just imagine for a moment the vast potential that you actually have that lies dormant within you guys, waiting to be released. And now imagine harnessing the power of habit to tap into that potential, channeling it into a force that drives you towards success. And as you guys embark on your journeys, I want each and every one of you guys to commit to taking it one day at a time. Commit to taking the small, consistent actions every single day. Because these actions may seem very insignificant at first, but as they accumulate, they'll create a snowball effect. propelling you closer to your goals. And over time, these small little steps will transform into powerful habits that'll become your foundation for your success. I want to read you guys a poem, if you guys don't mind. Who am I? I am your constant companion. So I'm your greatest help or heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure, and I'm completely at your command. Half the things you do, you might just as well turn over to me, and I'll do them quickly and correctly. I am easily managed. You must merely be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done, and after a few lessons, I'll do it automatically. I am the servant of all great men and women, and at last, all failures as well. Those who are great have made great. Those who are failures have made failures. I am not a machine, though I work with the precision and repetition of a machine, plus the intelligence of a human. And you may run me for profit or run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I'll place the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I will destroy you. Who am I? I'm a habit.
I really like that.
Wow.
That being said, guys, I really want you guys to focus on just the habits you're going to be cultivating this week. For the ones that has been in Olympics, showing up for Olympics and really creating massive amounts of results. I applaud you guys for that as well. I want to also give a special applaud to Corey and Lola, who officially broke their $100,000 milestone.
Woo!
Woohoo! Good job, guys.
Woo!
Yeah.
Go, Cola!
Awesome. Sexy.
Also, just keep in mind that that's literally the power of their habits. Right? They chose to foster great habits, which then produced the result. The result didn't create the habit created the result. So if you guys are interested in having the results and the success like Corey and Lola has had, I would think it would be probably in your best interest to figure out what habits they've been able to attain that then has helped them get to where they are. And if you are serious about having that success for yourself, then I would suggest following the directions. Anyways, I want to congratulate a few other people. Seth. Damn, are you a fucking pickup truck? Seth, I want to congratulate Seth. $4,500 this week. I think that's sexy, man.
Good job, Seth. My man.
Yes,
Yes, Seth.
actually make more than what he
Yeah.
makes in a month in 1 week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Big-
so you made more in 1 week than you would make at your job.
Yeah, 100%.
That's insane, isn't it?
When you start singing, no, 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 no.
But you surround yourself with like-minded people who are already doing it, and then it's bound to happen for yourself. So
All right. I actually was speaking about you today. I just did orientation, which is why I was late. Everyone that was in orientation with me, if you guys enjoyed it, make some noise for me, please.
Yeah,
Woo-hoo!
I didn't do that.
Awesome. So yeah, I was just in orientation with a few people. You heard Maria, Derek, Devin, and a few others. And we were actually speaking about you, Seth, where I was mentioning, what was I mentioning? I was mentioning that it's hard to see things in hindsight. I mean, in the future. So for instance, Seth, like I wouldn't consider the results that you've had leading up to this week, I wouldn't consider it as success. Everyone's viewpoint of success is different. But what you've been experiencing recently, that is what I would consider success, right? Because now you're breaking your milestones and you're doing it consistently. You know, you just had your $2,000 day and you did it again, which is just, you know, breaking and shattering that old belief. Because what really happened is you had a belief that you didn't feel like you deserved $2,000 in a day. You didn't believe that you can do it. And let's just say, you held on to this belief, right? This identity of having to work hard. You know, what would have ended up happening is you would have just ended up leaving us and saying, hey, maybe perhaps this thing doesn't work because I'm only making, you know, $100 commissions or $200 commissions. But the truth is you actually stood with us. You've been here for some time now, what, like 3-4 months?
Yeah, right around that, probably like 4 or 5 months, actually.
4 or 5 months, right? And you've stayed consistent. Even when you weren't making results, you stayed consistent. You stayed strong. You stayed true to the game. And you honed your skill, which is what most people refuse to do. And just like this, it paid off. There was no sign. There's no shaking of Seth that says, hey, I'm coming and you finally honed all the success. It was none of that, right? There's a big saying that we use, thanks to, again, Myron Golden. It's not working for you, it's working on you. And it's not going to work for you until you are the person that it's going to work for. Everyone wants an easy way out for money. Everyone wants an easy way for success. Everyone wants the microwavable version of success. But sometimes real success needs to be pressure cooked. Pressure cooked, right? I think pressure. That's some shit my grandma do. The pressure cooker. I don't know nothing about cooking. I'm just.
Yes,
Not third.
All right.
Thank you for that. Appreciate
No
you.
worries, Seth. Congratulations. Absolutely great job, Corey, Lola. Again, as well, congratulations. $100,000 is such a beautiful number. But you know what's even better, Corey and Lola? $200,000.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, let's
Right.
get that 200K.
Go.
Yeah. And I believe that going off of you guys' current momentum, I believe that you guys can actually do it together in the next 5 months. But it's going to take an intense amount of focus. If you guys can do it in the next 5 months, I believe that it's going to change your entire dynamic of everything that you believed was possible and your current situation, which I'm so excited for. So yeah, I'm ready for it. I love it.
Thanks, Junior.
No worries. Payouts. I think I was supposed to do payouts as well, but I think it was like my birthday or something. Oh, Miss Ina also made $2,000 today. Holy shit, about damn time. Miss Ina.
Oh, Ina. Woohoo.
Yeah, Ina.
Oh yeah. I
Oh,
agree with you,
yeah.
Junior, about time.
That's really good. All right, that's really good. All right, and I just want you to think about this, Ina. Think of every time you got discouraged, every time that you were selling yourself short, every single time that you felt you weren't good enough. When it's not working for you, it is working on you. Congratulations. Amazing, phenomenal job. You deserve it. You're one of the people that absolutely deserves it.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, yeah.